Greetings, viewers, and welcome to another edition of Talking Football with Drew and Stitch. It's been a while since our last video, so we apologize for the delay, but we had other things going on, like work and, other, normal stuff. So we're just going to jump right in, sort of talk about where both teams are, being Auburn and Alabama in the SEC West, and then, in the national standings as well. I'll also talk a little bit about Lucky Les and the Bengal Tigers at Baton Rouge.
Yeah, the shenanigans going over in Louisiana.
Yeah, the fake field goals from the 40-yard line. I mean, just mind-numbingly dumb decisions, but they keep working out for them. So what do you do?
I guess first thing, if you like, we can go ahead and jump into Alabama's loss. South Carolina did everything right. Give them all the credit.
I mean, and that after they sort of got gashed by Auburn down here, and I don't know if they just decided just like man up and we're not going to let anybody else run on us, and they're going to have to be just throwing the ball or what. They have a fierce pass rush, which was a non-factor against Auburn because of Newton's mobility. But I mean, it's probably a little bit better than. But better than a lot of people thought it was. They got to McElroy.
Right, and McElroy's decision making in the pocket was questionable.
It was surprising. I mean, that's something we're not. I guess nobody's accustomed to seeing.
But again, this was the low point of his season last year. Struggled in the South Carolina game last year. Struggled in it again this year, obviously with a loss. Yeah. We did get a couple of injuries in the game. Biggest one's DJ Fluker, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
So as we move into this game against Ole Miss with Alabama's homecoming game, that could be an issue. I'm hoping that Ole Miss their defense has been questionable so far this year. So I think we're hopefully going to be able to do what we did not do last week with only 17 carries between two. One Heisman caliber running back and another fantastic
17 combined carries.
17 combined carries. Look for the Tide. I think to have success here on out this year, I think the Tide has got to run the ball at least 35 times.
They have to win the game. That they're not Arkansas, or that they've got to be able to run the ball. If they can't run the ball, they're going to lose. This is going to keep happening.
Right.
But their defense a little bit. I mean, they're it's to be expected from a young defense. They're inconsistent.
Yeah, the young secondary has just struggled, and they just got picked apart this past week.
Yeah, it happened a little bit against Arkansas. If they were able to force turnovers against them, which they did not do. Against South Carolina, especially on the road, that'll get you beat.
Right. And the big thing is, we've got to have. We've got Mark Barron back there, but Lindsey Milner and Kirkpatrick, those guys have got to step it up. We're going to have to start giving those young cornerbacks some help over the top, especially double-teaming some of these receivers like Marvin Adams that we're going to face later.
Yeah.
We've got to get these guys help, and especially if for some reason we do sneak out of the West ahead and end up seeing probably South Carolina again,
most likely.
We have got to quiet down Alshon Jeffrey. Just he's a freak athlete.
I mean, he had. What was it? He's got 300 or 320 some odd yards in his last two games against Auburn and Alabama.
Yeah, just unbelievable stat.
And he just absolutely shredded both of them. Which Auburn has an all-senior secondary basically, so it's a little surprising. But
speaking of Auburn, looking at a good win over what I think is a pretty good Kentucky team.
It's certainly a good offense. Their defense stinks, but
the offensive game plan that they came out with. I mean, Kentucky was just doing everything right on offense. And granted, like you said, their defense couldn't seem to hold Auburn back.
Their defense couldn't stop a cold. But to be honest with you, I mean, Auburn got up 31-14, and most people watching it thought, whatever, they're going to cruise the rest of the game. But then, Kentucky, to their credit, they were able to drive down the field and get a field goal right before halftime and
get a little bit of momentum.
Honestly, I think if it goes in as a 3-score game at halftime, Auburn probably wins going away 52-20 something. But I mean, like I said, to their credit, they were able to do that. And
sure,
But then Auburn had that impressive drive at the end of the game, 94 yards, and killed the entire game from there on. That's what they had to do to win. They could have scored quicker, but that would have given Kentucky the ball back, and they'd probably still be playing right now.
Right. It's going to be quite a matchup here on the Plains this weekend with Arkansas coming in.
That's
it's going to be a great matchup. The big question is, will Auburn's secondary, after being kind of picked apart by South Carolina with Jeffries, will they be able to kind of sustain themselves and maintain the defensive strategy against Ryan Mallett?
I say no, but to the secondary, now I do think the pass rush can get to Mallett multiple times. But like the secondary, like I've pretty much, to be honest with you, I've pretty much given up on them.
Right, and I mean Ryan Mallett had a field day against Texas A&M.
He's had a field day against everybody.
Right.
It's just like Auburn has to force him into turnovers, and like I know one thing I've noticed is when you make him throw to his left, he's not. I mean, he still has success, but it's not nearly as great as
he's a little more inaccurate. Yeah. In Auburn's offensive game plan. It's just basically, from what I've gathered, what I think is going to have to happen. They stick to the game plan. They go down early. They cannot get flustered and get upset. They're going to have to stick with what Malzahn has had success with all year long.
And that's get off as many snaps as you possibly can.
Right.
And control the tempo of the game basically.
And especially what hopefully they'll be able to do is keep those snaps just like you said, quick snaps one after the other.
Yeah.
Keep Arkansas's defense from being able to sub players out, wear them down, get them tired, and then that's when Cam Newton's going to be able to run the ball like he has all year.
I mean, honestly, nobody's stopped it. Nobody's even really come close to stopping it except for Mississippi State. And,
right.
But I mean, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be lots of points scored for sure. So.
Now, what score predictions? What do you have for the Alabama-Ole Miss game?
The Alabama-Ole Miss game, with it being at home, I'm going to say 31-13 Alabama. That's just a guess. But
pretty close to what mine was. I was going to say 38-13.
I mean, I can see it being 52-0 too.
Right.
Auburn,
Arkansas.
I'm going to go, but because it's at home, I think Auburn wins 31-28.
Okay. I would say 28-24. Auburn. 28-24 Auburn.
Yeah, and again, we've been saying it since the start of the season. It looks like the two best teams in the SEC are in Alabama, and it's probably going to be for the Western Division Championship in Tuscaloosa.
Right. On Black Friday, that could, and not only that, but if both teams can keep winning up until that point, that could have a national championship on the line.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and talk about madness. I mean, if it's
unbelievable game that would be.
If both teams are both teams are top three going out, I'd put the over/under at people being murdered that night at about 12.
Right. Yeah. and
no matter what
happens, I would say quite possibly maybe the over/under cost for a ticket. Might end up being
I'd say
$1,200. $1,200 would be an over/under.
Yeah. And also LSU, I don't know how they keep winning these games where Les Miles just puts them in awful position.
Les Miles, I'll tell you this, he's got the biggest, luckiest pair I've ever seen from a head coach in my life.
Okay, I mean, it's like nothing he's done has been really good. But,
his clock management is utterly appalling. It is appalling that a head coach.
Yeah.
The guy needs to hire a graduate assistant to just stand beside him with a headset and go, "Hey, coach,"
And not only that, their offense has gotten worse every year since 2007, and Gary Croton is still the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's shocking. I
mean, their defense is great. John Jay was formerly at Tennessee.
And here's a fun little point for people. The last play of the Tennessee game, if you go back and count, Tennessee did have 13 men on the field. Here's a fun one though. Go back and watch the clip.
Yeah,
LSU did. They had 12 men on the field. So should have been offsetting penalties, game over. But lo and behold, lucky Les gets another one from the referees, and like you said, this game, he runs the fake field goal from the 40-yard line. Not exactly ideal field position to try a stunt like that, but it worked.
It does, and we'll both get our chances to face them, later in the year. But I guess that's about going to do it. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Only other thing, like we were talking about earlier, we've got Ohio State rolling into Wisconsin.
Oh yeah,
going to be a huge game. Definitely put Ohio State on upset alert. Currently, you said the line is -4 Ohio State.
Yeah. So Wisconsin's a 4-point underdog at home.
Bring it on, Wisconsin.
SportsInteraction.com. So if you bet, then
you might want to be looking at Wisconsin in this one, guys. That's a pretty good line. Wisconsin's got a great team.
Also, just real quick, Iowa is only a 3-point favorite against Michigan, so I think they're going to win that one, frankly, pretty easily. I mean, I think Michigan State laid the blueprint out there for how to stop Denard Robinson, or at least slow him down.
Slow him down pretty significantly.
Yeah. But anyways, that's going to do it. And as always, War Eagle
and Roll Tide.